Welcome to Oasis.
Hi, I'm 5, and we're looking at gardens on Oasis. This map ticks a lot of boxes for Hammond, with death pits, a spin to wind pillar, a really accessible spawn, and a tall skybox. This is made for some of the most dominant ball games I've ever played, but it's also easy to be completely shut out of the game by a counter played effectively. It feels like so many of the places you want to play from are in range of Mei, and a Sombra that has control of this mega can really mess up your game plan. The safest way to open up the game has you rolling out on the far side of this mega. From here you can scout the enemy team and pester the backline with some spam. Rolling out onto the point gives us another off angle that forces the enemy to split their attention. This is a lot more risky as you can just be walked into by a Mei, so if you've already shown the enemy team ball in the previous rounds, maybe take the extra time to roll out onto this high ground on the point. If you're playing with short range healers like Lucio Moira, you can always just play tight in this choke with the rest of your team. A Lucio should mean you're the first player here, and you can get some early poke damage on an enemy team that's also funneling into the same position. Your shots in this area shouldn't be suffering too much from damage fall off, and it's easy to find big pile drivers and adaptive shields with everyone playing so close together. If you don't have a DPS lineup that's ready to follow up though, you can just flank wide and look for a backline kill on whoever your Moira is throwing her damage orb at. This is a super easy kill, and then you can go and spawn camp that player since they're pretty out of sync with the rest of their team. This first fight by the mega can often drift onto the point itself, and this is where you need to start using more features of the map to your advantage. You can fireball through these stairs from behind into a pile driver, spin on a central pillar for as long as you want, and pile drive anywhere on the point using this platform. But don't exhaust all your kit without leaving something to contest this high ground, which is going to be your job. Up here you have free pile drivers on anyone trying to contest you, along with grapples that can boot players off the map if they come up the stairs. I like to sit up here while my adaptive shields are on cooldown and look for a pile driver that either gets me a bunch of ult charge or a kill in the backline. You can often find Annas sitting at the top of the stairs here, and as soon as they spend a cooldown, swinging into them with fireball and then a pile driver should make an easy kill. It's hard to say where you should hold on this map. Sitting in this high ground on the wall can set up for some nice pile drivers and minefields, but if your team wants to go and hold the enemy spawn, you need to be right there with them. You don't have to confirm kills yourself, but booping players away from the spawn as they leave and stealing their mega health pack can really help your team clean up those extra kills. If you don't need to poke for ult charge, you can sit on this edge by smokes to scout the enemy push before it happens. This spot doesn't commit us to any fights we can't take, but also lets us use our minefield at the choke with short notice. We can also use mines against the push through smokes itself, but make sure that your team knows this is what you're going for, as you can end up fighting on your own here. Sitting on high ground on point can make you less accessible to counters like Sombra and Mei, but you do risk your team taking fights without you, so do your best to be there to contribute when a fight does break out. After losing control of the point, we can expect to be held at this choke. You can usually see the enemy team holding here from spawn as you roll out, and I like to save my grapple to roll through smokes to take an off angle behind them. Here we can count players, do poke damage, and roll through the enemy team to build a bunch of ult charge and return to ours. This is also a good spot to use your ultimate once you've farmed it. I like trying to sandwich the enemy team between my minefield and my own team, so my teammates can still build ultimate charge off the players that can't escape. Another rollout for retakes has you grapple the side of this building like you would on Night Market. This takes you behind the contested choke to the mega, where we can check corners for a Mei, Sombra or McCree, and take easy 1v1s with weak players going for this mega. Against more split holds, I like to roll out onto the high ground of the point. We can usually take any 1v1s up here, and often it's completely free and we can just engage on our own terms. Dumping our minefield on the center of the point, we can zone players away to the edges and the stairs, right where we want them. Grappling this wall is a great way to boot players off the map. Remember to leave bull form once you've hit someone to kill your own momentum and not fly off after them. And as inviting as it looks, booping players off this edge never seems to work out. It's a bit far from the pathing everyone takes, so just focus on controlling the mega and the choke. It's not something you should use, but this map is one of the easier blender spots to learn. If you're interested about this tech and want to work out how you can find it on other maps, try grappling the bottom of this central pillar and then walking over your grapple to shorten it. Getting a feel for how this shortens the radius of your spin might help you find spots like it that you actually want to use in gameplay, or at the very least make you more familiar with how the grapple behaves.